Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to another episode of 2K Drones live stream. And as always, I am joined by my brother from another mother, the man, the myth, the legend. It is Chuck. And by my
Hey-o! How you doing, Keith?
I'm fine. How are you?
We don't want to talk about that yet, right?
Yeah, we might do in a second.
All right. So, I spent a bit of money this week. So
I need the deficit of a small nation, but
well, could have been about I think 10 truck payments. So
but
could have been a year ahead on the truck.
There's a clue in the title on the thing. Chuck may have bought a Mavic 3, but we will talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. But anyway,
and we got a couple more. We got a couple more people to bring in. So first off, our regular newsman, Mr. Henry Robotic.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Henry. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, we have a few people in the chat, by the way.
We do, and I will going to say hello to all of them. But first off, we have one more very important guest to bring in. Straight from Backpack Jack, the YouTube channel, we have Jackie, our friend and fellow British person. So again, not outnumbered. Hiya, Jackie. Loving the blue.
We're even Steven then.
We are.
Here's her. Yes. I'll put her channel in the chat just in case.
This should be
even though Jackie and I are having a little sub contest, I'll put hers in the chat.
That's very sporting of you, Chuck.
Yeah, I know. That's just how I roll.
I've got to ask you one quick question. Your last video, Jackie, how high were you? Did you hike up from sea level up to the up to that?
Yeah.
How high is that? Is that almost mountain? It looks pretty high.
No, but it was a low cloud day. You could see it was cloudy at the top, and I was above it slightly. So, yeah, I don't know how high it was, but it was good height.
That's why Jackie's sub count's better than mine, because she's not afraid to climb up like towers, rock faces.
Anything. You put it
pretty
there,
much anything. Yeah, and like go through like unlit, like deserted buildings, like tunnels and stuff, and it's all really cool stuff.
Just want to say hello to a couple of people in the chat. We've got Mr. John Coopy. Hello, sir. How you doing? We have Thomas. We have Alexa. Alexa, shout. We have Mrs. Chuck.
Yeah, she's supposed to be working. Honey, you're supposed to be working.
She had a break.
Yeah, she deserves it. And we have F13DFX, who is apparently in bed with his wife snoring.
Well, hey.
And we just announced that live.
No comment.
And Mr. Chris Freshworth. How you doing, buddy?
Chris.
Mike Miller.
I like Chris.
I just saw that. Good morning, Mr. Miller. How you doing, sir?
Good morning.
But anyway, so first off, we're going to talk about three main things today. We're going to be talking about news stories, which our newsman has, and then we will be talking a little bit about Chuck's, bank balance or lack of.
Wallet's like helium right now. I take it out of my pocket, it starts to like lift.
And then we will head into our what is now to be our regular segment, Creative Corner. We'll have to come up with a little jingle and intro for that. Yeah, and this week we're going to be talking about audio and music use in making videos. So, hi Espen, by the way. But further ado, let's get into the news. So, Mr. Henry Robotic, what do you have for us today?
Inspector.
Been kind of a slow news week, but I did manage to get some patents on a DJI gimbal for the Osmo Action 2, and so I have a couple images of it. It looks to be some like almost Osmo-esque, Osmo Pocket-esque, like esque like thing. Basically, you put your Action 2 onto it as like a sort of attachment, and it works like that. Yeah,
1-inch sensor, a 1-inch sensor that's removable as an action camera and then can turn into a Pocket 3. That's a home run.
Yeah. And
I need to refill my wallet quickly.
I I wonder, because by looking at those designs, it's going to use the clip on, and that number 11, I'm going to assume is another screen.
Yeah, it looks like it.
And that thing's obviously going to have a built-in battery to power the camera, and obviously thing's going to effectively be the display unit as it is now that you clip in, which would then lend to this camera being more module than it currently is. And that makes sense. It makes sense why they're doing this.
Because we've been asking for a larger sensor on the Pocket line, and to get a 1-inch sensor that way gives you an action camera that you can totally immerse in water or whatever, and then when you want to be cinematic, put a VND on the face of it, put it on this thing, and you're off to the I could have used this in Scotland big time, man.
Just have to go back.
This actually reminds me of that thing that GoPro did for a while, where, if you guys remember, it was their Karma system, where they had basically you could put a GoPro in a gimbal, and then you would have a GoPro and a gimbal separately, or you could put a GoPro and a gimbal, and then put that gimbal in a drone, and then you'd have a drone.
And you know, who knows what they're up to with like the second iteration of the FPV drone, because imagine if the same modular camera that is the Action 2 becomes like the camera for they'd never be that smart, but that would be awesome.
I mount it to the top of my FPV drone, and as you can see, it is far superior to the camera on the FPV drone itself. I mean, it does make flying that drone interesting, even in sports mode. You do have to be careful on the turns, and that dip is far more profound with that camera on top. So if you are in sports mode and sharp turn it don't half dip, and you have to be careful with that.
What if the Action 2 could be mounted in place of the existing camera on the DJI drone, though?
Yeah, I would personally
in place of it.
Yeah, I think that would be the way that DJI goes.
The modularity of it.
Yeah, mostly because I think they're going to learn from GoPro's mistakes.
Yeah.
If you remember, the Karma kind of fell out of the sky, literally. So I'm pretty sure DJI's at going to do a couple little things just to test the water before they come out with a big new system that GoPro kind of tried a couple years ago. And this kind of contraption begs the question, do we even really need a gimbal? Because at some point, the EIS of these smaller cameras are just going to completely make them obsolete. GoPro has been saying that theirs has made gimbals totally obsolete for 3 years now, since the 7.
I will say this, yes, because they're, even with the image stabilization, and the image stabilization on the Action 2 is pretty good. Is it as good as the GoPro Hero 10? I think that's a subjective thing. Yeah, I think that's a subjective thing. But the image stabilization on both GoPros and the Action series are very good. What they don't allow you to do is a gimbalized movement. Now, the Osmo Pocket, to a certain extent, will allow you to do that, but it's too light to get those true gimbal movements that you can only do with a gimbaled camera. You can have the best image stabilization in the world, but you still won't be able to get that movement that you can only really do with a gimbal.
Gimbal's sweet.
So I think there will always be a need for the gimbal. I like
360.
Your shots on your bike are pretty good, but I think gimbals will always be around. And I mean, there's numerous Chinese companies that make gimbals for GoPros. And they are using the thing about the thing that I like about the Action 2, and having used it a couple of times practicing on filming vlogs and everything, if I had that gimbal, that would be perfect, because then I wouldn't have to take my Osmo Pocket out to do that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That magnetic system is incredible, because
it's perfect for that gimbal. It's perfect.
I've got 3 points now on my bike, right, which I've sort of decided those are going to be the B-roll angles, right? I can switch between them, and 2 of them I can switch without even having to get off the bike.
Because it's magnetic, yeah.
Yeah,
brilliant.
And that's
wait till he throws it.
Now,
A monkey comes out in front of him. He hits the
off.
brakes and then we get the action cam tumble footage.
That's
on
why
YouTube.
you have a case for it, and I've got the small rig case for
Yeah.
it. Look, it's not perfect. Okay,
I'm just teasing you. I'm just teasing. I know it's a great system, and I think this gimbal thing is going to make use of that, and that's great. And that's going to get me to buy one, which is what right now I've been resisting.
The only problem I have with this new gimbal concept is that it's still a patent, and DJI doesn't always make their patents. They famously have a patent for a car. They're probably never going to make a car. But the only thing I'm worried about is that they don't make this because it cannibalizes their own lineup. Why would they make something that eats the sales of the Pocket?
Pocket
Because I
2 is
don't
already
think
getting
They're either
old.
going to price it out of the Pocket range.
Pocket 2
or
is
they're
getting
not gonna
old.
make it.
But I don't think
Yeah,
it will,
or not make another Pocket.
Because I'd still buy a Pocket 3, and I'd buy this gimbal. I'd have both in my arsenal.
I don't know if I
because
would. I'd just get the Action 2 and the gimbal kit and be done with it.
I think, but because again, the Action has a certain set of FOV. No matter how you use it, the FOV of that action camera, it looks like an action camera. Whereas an Osmo Pocket is a bit more
Maybe the firmware is the if you put the Action 3 on a gimbal, can DJI change the settings so that you get the image back?
No, because you still
get the
because of
FOV
the way
back.
the lens is. Okay, it doesn't that a certain amount
No.
of
Okay.
correct.
No, I see what you're saying. So there's still that compromise because like this thing has a really nice flat, movie like it looks filmy. When you use this right, it looks filmy.
Yeah.
And if the action's not I already have one camera that 1X2 is far from filmy. It's more like cartoonish.
I mean that's like an action camera look.
I would suspect that gimbal will be rugged to a certain extent. I suspect that
Chris Redgeworth says scam.
Yeah.
No, this is about an email that Espen's talking about in the chat.
We're talking about stuff.
But I mean, you can always tell GoPro footage. Don't get me wrong, GoPros are amazing at what they do.
We can all
it's a GoPro. And it really depends on what you want to use it with. I don't think it's going to cannibalize it that much. It's certainly not going to cannibalize it from their huge range. But the modular, even if they don't make a Pocket 3 and they go with the Action 2, I'm kind of okay with that to a certain extent because that modular system, I get it now. Having used it, I get it. Okay, it's not without its problems. The camera overheats. Funny enough, the only time it overheats for me is when I'm copying images off the internal card over to the thing. Because
you told me that. That's when it gets toasty.
Yeah, but what it does, and the reason it gets toasty, and they can fix this, DJI, you can fix this, is because the minute you plug it in, it starts charging. Right?
So disable charging. When you're doing
what you should do is disable the charging if there's enough power when you're doing the copying.
Or have it knows what its temperature is, right? It has a high limit, so just adjust the limit and have it stop charging until the temperature comes down, and then it'll resume charging or something like smart charging.
In my opinion, and this is a hardware thing, a lot of phones do it now, but they have like a pass-through system where I'm pretty sure the reason it's charging is because the only way for the power bank to get power to the actual camera is through the battery that it's connected to. And what a lot of phones nowadays will do is they'll have a direct connection from, like, let's say the external power bank to the actual like phone or something. So instead of having to go through that extra intermediary battery and heating up the camera, they can just power the camera directly. I think that's a hardware thing. But yeah, they could probably still fix it by charging it slower if there's enough battery. So, I mean, it's kind of just up to DJI to fix their own problem.
I'll tell you what will be next. It will be, Jackie's just shown us the GoPro Max. That's what DJI will be doing next. 360 camera.
360.
Yeah, I know they've been holding back on it.
The only thing they haven't really got, isn't it?
Yeah, and my 1X2.
Oh yeah, they have.
it's okay, but I'd be happy to unload it and just have a DJI version of that thing. Just for one thing, they probably give me Decinalike. They give us Decinalike, and then my color profile would be the same across
And
all
it
my.
would match. That's the one thing I hate about.
So, yeah, and it frustrates.
And this color match them. They're so far apart.
Yeah, and that's and Keith and I have discussed this before too, which is one of the things we've discussed it where it's kind of nice to have devices that are all very similar in color profile because then
it's an ecosystem.
Yeah,
they have an ecosystem. They're building an ecosystem.
Yeah, and then I can pull out anything. I can pull this out. I can pull out Lori's action camera, her DJI Action.
And it all looks
get the crazy drone in the air and it's close and just makes it easier.
Now, funnily enough, though, my first drone, which was a DJI Spark, it was a lot closer to the GoPro in color than my new one.
I thought the Spark color profile was okay, but
I mean, I don't know. I didn't really find it that GoPro-esque, but I guess it kind of
closer than this anyway.
I attempted to turn it into I tried to make it something it wasn't. I had ND filters for it, and it just wasn't.
On a Spark? Wow.
I had ND filters on my Spark, yeah.
Wow. I can't compare now because I drowned my Spark, but there you go.
My Spark, I sold it to a coworker's dad. I had that portable charging station. That thing was so cool. All the goodies were so good for you, Henry. I shouldn't have
missed
sold
that drone. I missed that drone for sentimental
value. It was a robust little thing. I used to crash the hell out
tank.
of it.
It was a little tank.
It was a good learning drone. I give it that. It was a really good learning drone.
I bounced it off a brick wall and it just bounced.
Yeah.
You'd hit it, smash it against the wall or the ground or something. It'd be fine. Just get up.
Just rub the dust off of it. It's fine. You could even change the shell because the shells came in different colors.
Yeah.
I ended up getting the white one because I bought it early on when it came out. And I couldn't get lava red.
Mine was white.
And I wanted it to be lava red, so I actually found
red because I don't have a thing for red at all. I mean, not every item.
What do you mean? I hate red. So but I changed the shell. I changed the shell out, and the only thing about changing the shell that was hard was how DJI puts the little gob of glue, in one of the Allen head screws. I just had to pick that out.
And you have to tweezer it out. Oh, it's horrible.
I missed the Spark. I could charge the damn thing in my car as well, and it would charge like that.
Well, funny they've kind of brought that back.
They have.
Spark?
No. After we finish with John's drone news, we'll talk about the Mavic 3 can be directly charged by USB.
Maybe just a little.
Which is pretty impressive.
Yeah. And this thing.
Yeah, we do have to talk about that. But there is one more thing we do need to talk about in your news, and that is miracles do happen, and they say they happen at Christmas. And by literally the last few days of 2021, Autel managed to get their Evo Lite and Evo Lite Plus and Evo Nano and Evo Nano Plus, because there's 4 different models, out the door. And to say that the Evo Nano Plus is we're talking Air to S pricing.
$949 for 2 batteries, the drone, some extra. Okay, look at it.
I like the orange though.
The orange is cool. Some extras and a controller that looks like it's just, I don't know, plastic garbage, in my opinion.
It doesn't impress me either. And there's no place to put the sticks, right? The sticks.
That's the thing. That's the thing.
So this is the attention to detail that they lack.
Yes. Oh, 3 total batteries. My bad. Yeah,
this is the thing I mentioned. I'm going to
Keith
mentioned
myself. It. Yeah, you get credit for this one, Keith.
I put a video out about my favorite drone of 2021, and I talked about this because I want Autel to be a serious contender to DJI, and the build quality of these drones is really good, and that's true. I saw one in the shop today. I felt it, and I do get what a lot of people are saying. It just feels premium. It does feel You hold the Nano Plus and you hold the Mini 2, and that
This
Nano
guy's getting
Plus
jealous. He's getting
does
jealous.
feel better. But it is Autel's attention to detail. So you make a controller with removable sticks, but give you nowhere to put them. Right?
Oh, what?
Then you put out
and
a
like
6K drone with no freaking log. And what's more, it's only 8-bit. It's not 10-bit.
10.
So,
or like
and
20.
believe me, there is a difference between 8 and 10-bit. So,
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And okay, if Autel was coming in at cheaper than DJI, these drones would be an absolute steal. But they're not.
But yeah, no. They're very expensive.
Yeah.
Just,
and it's that attention to
That
detail
is
that
spendy.
concerns me.
Personally, the Nano, this little dude doesn't have the sensors and stuff, but it was half the price pretty much.
Yeah.
But I have
Like
to
half
say,
the price.
I know. But as an Xbox gamer, kind of like the controller. Kind of like
Oh yeah, I've heard mixed
okay.
things on the controller, Henry. I've heard some people do like the way it feels, because it does has that Xboxy, PlayStation-y kind of feel to it.
That's
I
fair.
will answer this. It's colors more than anything, but it's also detail.
I was going to say 2 bits.
Yeah, it's
Well, the Mavic-
it's 2 bits. It's detail. Now I'll tell you one thing, because I was just mentioning this to Espen in the chat. There is an issue with the Action 2 importing that video. If you do not output it at the same bit rate, and you have to explicitly tell your video editor to do this, it loses so much detail. And it's really, really apparent with the Action 2 rather than the thing. So if you go from 10-bit to 8-bit with the Action 2 footage, by God, it looks awful. So, I mean, it really does. And that's the other thing. That's the other thing you've got to do as well. If you're using Action 2 footage in your range, in your, mixing in with the other things, one, you have to make sure that your drone shoots in 10-bit.
Ooh, that's pretty.
And your Pocket shoots in 10-bit, which it doesn't. So mixing action footage with anything else at the moment is a problem if you haven't all got 10-bit across the line. Because the Action 2 just doesn't play well.
Oh, you just brought up one of the things I didn't even know why I stumbled upon that challenge, and I did. Okay, enough said.
So, but Autel, look, I mean, these drones are good. These drones are good. There are problems with the Nano, apparently. There's rumors of flyaways and things like that. But it depends on which reviewer you talk to. Ken Heron loves them. Ken Dobo has been very complimentary of the Evo Lite. And the footage out of it is pretty good. I mean, it is pretty good. But the pricing is the issue.
Yeah. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me. To make this great drone, and then it would contend with DJI, honestly. If it were anywhere near the same price, I would probably choose the Nano.
Is the Nano going?
The same price.
Yeah, but is the Nano going to work with Autel's smart controller? It would make sense that it would.
Yes, it is, I believe.
Because that would make sense.
Yeah. But again, that great big slab that is Autel's smart controller is
it's like carrying a laptop.
Nowhere to put the removable sticks.
No, I didn't know that. Really?
Yep.
I mean, no place like, say, here?
Yeah.
Ah, cool.
Yeah, it's detail.
That's what you need, isn't it?
Well, it is the detail, and I'm sorry.
1,200 US, it better have a place to put the stick.
And DJI are not perfect, and we're going to talk about that in a second. But their attention to detail is considerably more than any other drone company at the moment.
It's superior.
And that's why they are still
the leaders.
Market leading.
Mm. Autel has it in them. They just haven't. They're not mining it. Yet.
I think they they make some odd decisions, and they they certainly don't seem to have the manufacturing or the communication with their partners. You look at what they had the problem with that American retailer that said the product had been discontinued.
Wait,
and
really?
Yeah. Just before Christmas. So this guy, the Sean over at Geeks Varna put out a video about it.
No, I meant this. Another one, or is this the second one?
It could be that they're perfecting the current, the one they put out before,
right? Because they already have two flavors. They had the first one, then the chips shortage generated a second one. Mike, you can't. I agree.
You can't, but you can say it's like little details. If you have even on DJI's cheapest controller, you can remove the sticks. And then somewhere to put them.
Yep. And proof. Their FPV drone looks very much like that controller, and you can put the.
And this is the kicker: Autel don't give you a spare set.
That's even better because like DJI gives you a second set.
I mean, Dobo admitted that he lost one of the sticks and had to nick one off the CES stand of Autel. He nicked one off the Autel stand.
Did he really? That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Serves him right too for not giving you a spare set.
It's nuts, and they don't give you cables for the phone. I think they give you a USB-C cable only.
Well, we can talk about how DJI has kind of like skimped a little bit.
DJI are kind of benefiting iOS, and Autel seem to be benefiting Android potentially. Although not every Android phone is USB-C. Some are still the USB.
That's not what I was. Anyway.
But anyway, go on then. What were you saying?
Nothing. Well, wait.
Anyway, right. We should go on to our next subject. So, Mister, I'm not buying a Mavic 3. I'm never going to get a Mavic 3. No, I don't need one.
Has got one.
We knew it was going to happen. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah.
I thought
you could just see this piece of tumbleweed going across Chuck's bacon right now.
Yeah,
after the hard time you gave Marcus as well.
Yeah. So I guess when the wagering took place during the holidays, and everybody said we're going to wager on whether it be Chuck or Keith to break down first, I was more vocal about not doing it. So I guess naturally I'm the first one to do it. But I always wanted it, but I didn't want it. I wanted it, but I didn't need it. I was fighting it and fighting it and fighting it, and I had good reasons to fight it. And then the firmware came out. I said, it must be close enough. I'm just gonna do it. So I did it, and it's great.
So you haven't even blown it yet.
I have. It's 7 degrees below zero, so no, it has not been out yet. But I'm still I'm kind of fumbling around with. By the way, before we get into that, when you fold this thing up, like I think others have reported, it's pretty much the same size as the Mavic 2 series. I mean, this thing will fit in the hard case that I have for the Mavic 2 Pro. It'll fit in there. It's crazy. So I mean, it's just dimensionally slightly longer, and I think it's because the sensor sticks out further.
But it has to. I mean, look at the size of that thing. I have to say. Those ND filters,
a bit different to that, isn't it?
Well, this is the Freewell ND on the face.
Jackie.
The Platinum is I like the eagle eyes on the front there.
Yeah.
There are just a few things that strike me as odd, and it didn't keep me from taking my hard-earned money anyway. But the bug eyes on the bottom for the avoidance, and on the nose and on the tail are really cool. But on the top, they're just flat cameras. It's kind of weird.
Well, in theory, pointing straight up. So, it is a bit.
I guess maybe because the props would be in the way. I don't know why. Actually, no, I don't know why they did that. That struck me as odd.
Well, in theory, it has that level of view. So flat app cameras should get that angle. So you have a greater angle like that with the bug eyes, and then those two forward up cameras don't need to, because they would be overlapping too much. I suspect that's why. Although tests are still showing that it's not quite 360, that there are issues. There is one thing that I haven't had answered. Does it suffer the same issues the Mavic 2, where we were told it had 360 sensors, but they only operated in certain modes? And does it do that with the Mavic 3? Because I haven't had that question. Are they on like all the time?
I don't know, but I did learn something interesting last night. And by the way, interesting comment on the price of the Cine. I also said, remember early on, Keith, I said I was just going to get the Cine because whether I needed it or not, I was going to get the Cine. And the more that I came to my sense, you are full screen too, platypus.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that,
cool.
John. I love that, John.
I actually was sensible about the Cine because for some weird reason, DJI doesn't have a removable hard drive. We know it's like an NVMe in there, right? I mean, what else is going to fit in there? The NVMe should come out. In fact, it'd be so easy for them to sell an NVMe that was in a housing that you just take out the. What? So
that's nuts. That again, that was a bad choice.
DJI did a bad one on that.
That was a big
I think they missed the mark on that one. Honestly,
for the professionals, I mean, not us, but like even any
for
one
us,
of us.
Bill,
if you're out in the field, how much will that 1 terabyte drive hold time wise?
Good question.
Yeah, Aspen, there are gonna be a couple on eBay if you want to grab
especially
one.
with like Apple ProRes and all that stuff.
Yeah,
obviously you're gonna fill up the 1 terabyte.
You're gonna use that 1 terabyte pretty quick. So I mean, this old setup that I have, this credit card thing that I carry around is, how I deal with that. And if I'm going to fly over water, I'll change the SD card out from the flights before, so at least if the drone goes and gets some underwater footage, at least I have the SD card from before the underwater excursion. But
See, the other thing it doesn't do, and I got into an argument with somebody online about this until we actually looked at the processor.
I can stop anytime I want to, Chris.
Number the cores. No, we can't. It doesn't do a dual when it's recording in ProRes to the hard drive. It doesn't record proxy to the SD card, which is another thing that a lot of pros want, is having that proxy backup. And the drone is capable of doing that because the processor can handle it.
Hopefully that'll change. So then the other thing
might be something they bring.
The other thing I learned last night, I was watching some videos trying to figure some stuff out, and the stereo vision of the sensors in the front of the drone, the reason why the Mavic 3 and many of them struggle with obstacle avoidance is because they don't see in 3D. Stereo vision like we have, its one weakness is depth perception. So that's why
it is but partly the bug eyes cameras are meant to be able to give you that slightly better view. I think it's got problems in its software at the moment.
It's a software thing. It's not that the hardware is there.
It's definitely a software thing.
Yeah. So that'll get a lot better. It'll never. I don't see it ever being a replacement for a Skydio 2. As far as avoidance goes, it's not going to be that. It'll be far more capable, but it won't be a Skydio 2.
There is some interesting features on what they call Focus Track now. They've rebranded it to Focus Track because it does that same thing as the Air 2S does, which is that point of interest. They call it another mode. When you go to active track, the first mode it's on is basically you can fly the drone around manually. It will stay tracking that object.
I know what you're talking about, but
so
I should know, but I haven't even.
I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but the Mavic 3 looks very similar to the Air 2S in that, but they've expanded the active track with some slightly different modes, the ability to manually place the drone around your object,
and
track from there, so you can track it from diagonal lines. But the active track on the Mavic 3 for every video I've seen is clunky.
Bill, if you're going to razz me, you have to subscribe to this channel. You can't be a chicken, SHIT, and like not. You got to be like, in it, all in. You have to be all in, man. All in. Anyway, Bill, it's still not ready, dude. Like, oh my God, it's not ready. I have, let's talk about the RC Pro, shall we? This thing? This badass thing? I got it all set up, had the drone set up, updated the firmware and everything. And went into pro mode because in Fly you use pro mode, and well, I guess I can't start it up, but you get all your settings in. I go to Pro Mode and I set up my shutter speed and my frame rate and all that stuff, and everything's dialed in. And I got it all good to go, ready to go when I want to go fly outside. Power everything down, power it back up. It's all gone. It's all in auto again. Everything's in flipping auto, and it's even on photo mode. It's not even on video mode where I left it. It's in photo mode.
What did you do?
And it's like, so I'm like, nothing. I didn't do anything. It should just remember the settings. There's no place to save them. You just change them. And then I'm like, well, maybe it did a firmware update or something. So I turn it off, turn it back on, and change them all again. And then I do it again, and they stick that time. And it's like, okay. Yeah. So Bill, have you had this happen? Because it seems like it has like just this forgetfulness thing about it. Kind of like me. It's like, how old is this drone? So that's kind of weird. I'm not sure what's going on with that. The Fly app is just putzing around with it, trying to find stuff is a pain in the ass. And there's no they've improved it. Like EXP's in there, and it's not terrible to get to. But man, there's so much stuff that's on the surface of Go4, and I'm beating a dead horse with this stuff. But there's so much stuff on the surface of Go4 that you have to dive down layers to get to. Yeah, Henry. And
ever since they switched the higher end models to Fly, we've been going on and on about it. But yeah,
it's not going back. It's a one-way trip.
I think we're just stuck with it, whether we like it or not. And no matter what we say or do, DJI's not gonna go back, you know. So I think we're kind of just stuck.
Does anyone? Here's a question. Does anybody know how the hell to set the home point in DJI Fly? Because I still haven't found that.
I haven't figured it out yet either. I mean, I've been there. There are a couple things that I haven't found that are really important. One is and it's probably right under my nose. I just haven't really just relaxed, taken a deep breath, and played with Fly. How do you? Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Should I do a video on it and have like the big unapproved thing?
Do it.
Do it.
Do it. You should do
it. Have to say anything. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, John. That's genius. John, it's genius. But no, it's gonna be fine. But it's just, I really thought with the firmware it was way closer, and it's just kind of not. But the Fly app. So yeah, finding the home point, and then also I want to disable the smart return to home because let's face it, guys, the vision system ain't ready for prime time yet. So like, I don't want this thing weaving through the trees to come back at some low level. I'd rather just shoot it up like you always did in the past to like, you know, a couple hundred feet, get over the trees and come back in a straight line and inefficiently find your way back to me. I don't want it to be going.
Yeah. I mean, if you hit something at like a couple hundred feet up, then we got other problems.
Power lines seem to be its nemesis.
Well, nothing. Even Skydio 2 can't really see power lines that well.
I know, but that's why smart return to home doesn't work, or you should have an option to override it.
Yes.
You
want it going up to safe height, don't you?
You just want to pop it up to something that you feel is okay for what you're doing at the moment, and that's one of the things that it's not that Fly is really a terrible app. It's just it's so markedly different from Go4 that it's like all this muscle memory in my muscle head is like I'm struggling to like get used to it after 6 years of flying with Go4. It's kind of weird. So I don't know if Go4 is more professional, Mike. I mean, it's something we're really comfortable with, and we know where everything is, and so this is like it's just so different. That's all. It's so different. Power lines are helicopters. Yeah.
I agree with you, Mike. It's the same with the Air2S as well. I wish it was on Go4, but that's another argument. Before we completely trash on it, the minute you get that up in the air,
seems like I can feel my fingers for more than 5 minutes.
Get it loaded into DaVinci, you're going to have a smile on your face because the imagery out this thing is awesome, right?
I want to do a bit of flying with the two of them. Like next weekend, we're supposed to be out and about someplace pretty. So,
like a comparison.
Do a
Yeah.
comparison.
I reckon
Yeah, that'd be
comparison.
Yeah,
fun.
and you should
I'd
do
like
the
to
same
see
with the smart controller because what that RC remote's got to feel more slick. It's got to feel more.
It's much more buttery. I already, I don't know if anybody else does it or not, but I go into the, let's see if I can show you. Hold on. It starts up way faster, by the way. But I mean, it's
Yeah, I bet.
newer
Bet.
hardware. It's like 3 years newer hardware. Although it's still running Android 10, and we're up to 12 DJI. By the way, we're up to 12 DJI. So I'd really like my phone to work with Fly if I have to use your remote control. So please do that.
I actually got Go 4 to work on Android 12.
Okay. I have to try it again then.
Yeah,
Maybe there's
that's all
If
well
you
and
need
good. That's
help.
all well and good. But he needs it for he needs DJI Fly to work on.
I
I
think
do.
you can get Fly to work. I might be able
I
to help
do.
you with that. But
Let's see. I'm gonna see if I can get in the system here. Yeah. So no, I can't find it. It's funny. It looks like Android, but yet it's not Android. It's really funny. This is why you Apple people have it made, because Apple keeps Apple. I just know what I'm saying. Look at this. It's
Apple
marketing.
is the best.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but it's certainly consistent.
yeah,
But anyway, you go into about the device,
looks
and you go
like
down to
Android
build
on this
number.
side, Apple on that side.
go down the build number and about device, and you tap it 6 times on an Android device, and it unlocks this thing called developer mode. And then when you get developer mode opened up, then you can go in and you can make it so like you can change how fast it refreshes screens and stuff. They set it default as 1. You can make it 0.5, and it's like
Wow.
there's yeah, that's the cool thing about Android, but finding it is a little tricky with the smart or the RC Pro. It seems pretty buttery. Oh, and the bottom, these screw holes are supposedly the same exact distance as the spacing on the smart controller. So if you have the bracket that you use for your lanyard, like I do on my smart controller, it'll fit on here. But the only thing is, you won't have access to these 2 bad boys right here on each side. You only have the one in the center, the USB-C.
Yeah,
so that's going to be
the problem. Oh,
that that'll be here tomorrow. And the screen protector is supposedly exactly the same. So if you had a spare one from your smart controller,
but it's got to feel nice, that thing. And I mean, although
it feels just like the other one. I mean, it has the same.
The problem
big
is
grips
part of the additional cost on that thing is the 4G
It's
that you
massive,
can't use.
though, isn't it?
It's good size.
I still use this little setup with the bits that stick out.
But here's the thing, Jackie. That remote that you've got there with the custom buttons at the bottom at the back is better than the remote that the standard remote they give out for the Mavic.
Yes, that's the drawback. That's why this is so nice. You have your C1 and C2s on the back and everything.
They've gone backwards. That's what you're saying.
A bit backwards, yeah.
The remote,
and 2 dials. You have your 2 dials too.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's kind of important.
And all of those Mavic 3 fanboys out there, yes, I am talking directly to you. If you don't see that as a huge problem, then you are not using your drone to anywhere near the potential. Because I use those side buttons all the time. They are so useful. I had one always set to turning off the sensors, which you can't do in DJI Fly. Because if I was flying off on a hotel balcony or off a balcony, which I seem to do a lot,
you seem to do that a lot, Keith.
Yeah, you do.
Having those sensors on is annoying because you can't bring it in and land it back.
Right?
Right? So having that button that you flick them off was really useful. And then I have the other one to the light because I like sometimes when I'm flying at night, I just want everybody to think they're looking at aliens. But it doesn't. It looks like it. But those buttons were always useful. And a Mavic 3, which is twice as much as the Mavic 2, doesn't have the buttons, and that to me is mental. And the fact that the remote is the same cheap ass remote that they give with every other DJI drone.
I can't help but think there's. I don't know why they're taking so darn long, but yeah, the larger the battery design is fantastic. It really is.
I agree.
The battery design is really, really good. And if I was always nervous, you're already nervous flying over water as it is, and then to be worried about the battery kind of getting a little puffy and then popping out of the top of the drone and down comes the drone. And Jackie, you witnessed it. I know you have. Yeah. Was that
that was
Terry's?
Drone.
Yeah. I remember the video.
Yep. Just whizzing along and then.
That's just
Battery flew out.
gut-wrenching. Just like you watch it. Yeah, it just comes plummeting out of the sky, and you didn't hit a bird or anything. Yeah.
No.
But anyway, the new battery design is it's freaking awesome. Now that is truly awesome. You just push these 2 plastic tabs on the back, and out it comes. Just like, wow, it kind of looks like somebody else we know makes things out of orange, don't it?
I think the battery.
I might have copied Autel here.
It's heavier. What's heavier? Because the Mavic 3 is. Yeah, it is. Yeah. The Mavic 3 is actually lighter than the Mavic 2, I believe, by a couple of pounds. Overall, the batteries I think are heavier.
A few ounces. It's a few ounces.
I think it's ounces.
It's just a few ounces because the Mavic 2 series weighs in at 2 pounds, almost perfect.
But that
this
battery
is just a bit shy.
In and out is really nice. It is really nice.
Oh, thanks, Aldrin. I'm kind of like you must be stewing about it. Aldrin, we need a how-to on. I gotta watch more of Aldrin's videos because, like, I'm lost with Fly and I can't find things, and my settings are resetting and stuff, and there's just I have so many questions as I'm trying to like, why is it like this?
Send
Aldrin the link. Have him come in because, like, I want to bring Aldrin in.
You could answer.
He's probably busy though. I know he's always a busy guy.
I'll ask all your questions. But. Yeah, no, look, Chuck, joking aside, and we've laid into you a bit, you have got a good drone, and it will get fixed.
It's going to be terrific. I mean, I one of the things, Lori and I have been working really hard on our channel to be, we love travel vlogging, we love traveling, we love everything that has to do with travel, and one of the things we want to do that we think a lot of people aren't doing is be way more cinematic about it, and that's what we're working to be cinematic vloggers. So, like, bring stuff. Like, I want it to feel like a movie, I want it filmy. Even when we're just talking to the camera, I want it to feel filmy. And not many people do that, and I think that's what's going to set us apart from the rest. I know we can do it, and to get to some
far more important.
Oh yeah, I get it. Yeah. No, it's Aldrin. We can talk some other time, but really, I'm super excited and frustrated at the same time. I wonder if I jumped into the pool too soon, but we'll see.
I think once you get it in the air and you fly it with that RC Pro, because let's face it, you're going to be using the RC Pro because that's the one that you should use.
There's no way I was going to buy it without this thing. So
yeah, no,
I did it a la carte. Can I shout out the place I bought it from?
Yes, by all means.
So sure. So fellow American buyers, my fellow American buyers. There's a company in Florida called Drone Nerds. And interestingly, you might not get charged sales tax on your purchase. So if that was to be true, you might not pay $300 in New York State that you would otherwise pay to everybody else when you bought the drone in sales tax. I'm not saying this happened. I'm saying that it might happen.
Yeah, but you ordered it on the Sunday or the and it was with you by the Friday. They were pretty good and they looked after you, I think.
And I spoke to them on the phone, and the guy actually told me. He said,
there you go.
Yeah, I said I was going to sell my Mavic 2 Pro, and he's like, he says, you realize that the market's picking up for those? And I said, really? And he said, yeah. He said, because the Mavic 3 is so expensive, your Mavic 2 Pro still has a pretty solid used market. So if you did what I did and you bought the Mavic 3 and you're like, I should have sold it like, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, whatever. Maybe not. So who knows?
Yeah. I am hearing rumors that it isn't selling as well, and the retailers here are pushing Facebook ads a lot more than they usually do for any other drone release. So, I mean, here it is eye-watering.
Oh, it's yelling at me.
Too.
It's mad.
But I do want one. Can't afford it right now. Got lots of other things to buy, but maybe
in the meantime. Yeah, no, I do not need those glasses. But
I mean, I might be getting a share.
I know. I said that before, right? I don't need insert electronic gizmo here, and then
got some.
You want me to rant on the glasses?
Right, we can start a sweepstakes. How many months before Chuck buys the latest Epson glasses? and he's going to say, "I'm not buying them. I'm not buying them."
Well, they came out.
Not
They
buying
came
them.
out. Wait, hold on. They came out in like May, and they don't work with the smart controller. They might work
they
with this
do
one.
with the RC Pro.
Yeah, but yes, they do. But the difference between the drone which I use pretty much every time I go on vacation and stuff, whenever I can, the glasses are always the first thing to get nicked from the bag, as Keith would say, because like I'm packing all my stuff, I'm like, oh, it doesn't all fit. What can I get rid of? Glasses, off to the side. They're the first thing to go. I never use them, so that's what. And Epson did some really stupid stuff this time that they haven't fixed. They don't plan on fixing it, and I was waiting for them to fix it. They don't even give you a case, man. We're going to charge you $1,000 for a pair of glasses.
Yeah, hang on. That argument isn't going to run pie because they don't give you like half the stuff with the Mavic 3, and you'll end up with them the minute people start going, oh look, you can do this. You'll get the bug and get them. When Chuck says he isn't going to buy something,
maybe Epson wants to win my heart. I'm gonna appeal to the Epson users group.
Month to have a reason.
I'll tell you,
they have to. They should give me a pair to test and keep forever. That's what they should do.
Make a video on them and surreptitiously throw it at Chuck, and then when he watches the video, I'll go like that.
You guys are funny.
My precious. What six I do?
Really, honestly, the glasses I don't use them much to speak of anyway. I mean, they were really fun, and when I had the Mavic Pro originally and the Mavic 2, they were kind of like I used them for a little bit. Then I just got bored of carrying them around.
Right, so we've been talking about this for a while, so we've got to get into our.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I got into my rant.
Our creative corner subject, which we're going to try and do at every stream, and this week we're going to be talking a little bit about audio and music. Now, the most important thing about video production is audio.
Numero uno. Audio. Numero uno.
So you can have really shitty video.
Don't say it. Don't say it, Keith.
But
it's not.
Audio is hissy or annoying, no one's going to watch it. And I'll give you an example. I was watching. There's a news agency out here who are this far away from 100,000 subs, but they still have production issues. And like they put out a news video the other day, and I know what they've done. They got one of these little wireless mics on, and it was only on one channel. And when you're watching on headphones, every time they play music, both headphones. Every time the presenter is talking, only the left thing. I can watch
that
it.
drives you nuts, doesn't it?
Drives you nuts. And it's unwatchable. And it's fine if you're on a computer, laptop, or you're on your phone without headphones. But the minute you've got those headphones on, so if you're making a video, you have to nail the audio. The audio is the thing that you pay attention to. Your video can look crap, and people will watch it. Many channels out there, and people seem to watch because,
that's the backbone of your video is the music. That's your backbone. Yeah.
Well,
and then even sound. Well, now I'm getting ahead of ourselves. Even sound effects can add a lot of depth to your video if you incorporate. And I don't mean like have like birds chirping like. Sound like pterodactyls because that's another thing. Your levels and everything matter too. So like, and I struggle with this constantly as a creator. I think we all do, struggling with getting the levels right. But anyway, so Keith, we need to talk about your music. The music is what sets the mood.
It depends on what type of video you're doing. I mean, Jackie, you've put music in your videos. Where do you get your music from? Is it the YouTube library? Do you subscribe to a service?
No, all from the audio library.
Yeah, trust me, you don't want the copyright man knocking on.
No, exactly.
As someone who has experienced several times of that.
I have to admit,
not for music, but for other things.
I spent a lot of time before I used the Airwolf theme tune in my video. I spent a lot of time making sure that was decopyrighted.
As you should.
Did something similar. I was concerned about a strike as opposed to a claim when I used the Skyboat song for the video that Lori really wanted us to put together. The kind of take some of the footage that we got in Scotland that she'd done for a purpose, and that was the purpose. Anyway, I uploaded the song ultimately on my private channel, and it didn't get the strike. It got the claim, and there's a big difference between a claim and a strike.
Oh, it's a huge difference.
Yeah. Now the claim is no big deal, because the claim, if you use copyrighted music, there are a lot of agreements now between YouTube and the music world, the industry. And if they're okay with it, you'll get a claim, which means that, okay, so you post a video and you use some really cool copyrighted song because it helps you get views and stuff, right? I mean, like this video I just rolled out, we're over 600 views in like 4 days. It's like crazy. But anyway, it's no big deal. They just make all the money off of it. Who cares? And then if you're a small channel like we are at the moment, I say at the moment, who cares? It's like, so they take the money from it, but it's helping your channel. You're getting exposure. You're using a song that people recognize. Your video, if it's tied to that song in some kind of unique way, then it's a win. But the strike is really bad. We had one on here, right, Keith? We had one for an image. For an image
in a stream.
And that can happen too.
Yeah, I remember that.
I mean, we could get into...
We should talk about that another time, but stick with music.
I got screwed up in it too. Yeah. I remember that.
We can talk how broken the copywriting system in YouTube is.
Another time. I'm sorry, I got us off the rails a little bit. Back to music, but
the whole music. On that.
There are. I mean, John's just put that there are lots of different services for free out there. I mean, Gareth, who's producing this show kindly for us, he uses some free stuff from YouTube, and we just credit them in our podcasts that we do. I and Chuck use Epidemic. Epidemic is used on this channel for the intro and outro. It is $15 or 15 quid a month, so it's not the cheapest thing in the world, but I love Epidemic and I love music. Doesn't mean you should, but music,
it depends how important it is. See, Keith and you and I know we agree on this 100%. It's like, to us, music is really important, and Epidemic Sound gives you so many options, like the Scotland series that I've been working on. Look, where would I have found all that really cool bagpipe music and stuff? I mean, it's like it's stuff. And every time I just smile every time I'm like in there and I'm looking for a song. I'm like, oh, that's it. Is it
easy in Epidemic to search for a particular style then?
Yeah, I can search bagpipes, I can search Scotland, I can search, Highlands, I can search, and then all this stuff will come up, and then you find one you really like, and okay, you can mark it, you can heart it, download it, whatever, and then you can click on similar stuff, and then it'll find similar stuff to that.
Oh, that'll match with it.
And then it kind of has the same feel, so then it's like, okay, so like if you have a longer video you're putting together, you can grab like maybe a few tracks that all have the same vibe, and then you can bring them together.
I'll never forget.
It's so worth the money to me, but that's because I've always been in the music. Like I wanted to make music videos like as a kid. I just, I didn't think I'd be doing it now, but it's kind of like I am.
I'll never forget when we were putting together the intro for our episode number 7, which was our sort of James Bond episode.
Yeah, that was epic.
And we had this idea for this intro. And initially it was just going to be the Bond gun barrel scene, but then I thought, no, let's go whole hog and do a full-on Bond style intro with dancing ladies and everything. Thank you, wife. God bless you.
Yeah, she was your Bond girl. She did a great job.
After hours of trying to find a Bond-esque tune, I hit the jackpot on Epidemic, and I mean it was the jackpot. I just
it was.
And if this isn't Bond, I don't know what is. And it was just full on Bond.
Yeah, it's out there. You can watch episode. You guys can watch episode 7. It's out there. It's just watch the beginning. The intro was like.
It's so good.
I take my hat off to Keith. He worked his ass off to put that together, and it is nothing short of remarkable.
I'm gonna go and check that out in a bit.
Check out episode 7. Yeah,
I mean, all I have to say is it was kind of like
007.
Yeah,
yes.
it was.
That was the whole point.
It was mostly my idea, but then Keith he ran with it, man. He ran with it, and there was no stopping them. And it's just epic. But so music like that, that's why it means a lot to us for our videos. Like when a lot of people will comment on the Scotland stuff that we're doing. They're like, wow, how'd you pick that music? The music's really, really great. And it's like, well, we use this thing called Epidemic Sound. And
I mean, when you put your drone footage up there, you have to have music, but there's some tips for you, like learn beats, so cut with the music. So
you can
editing,
mark.
Yeah, we see
you
the
can
way
go through the song and mark. And by the way, I put Mike's comment up. Mike, I do that too, man. A lot of times I'll have all my clips and stuff, but I'll pick out the music. I'll grab the music because I want the music to have the vibe I'm looking for as I'm creating my story, because I don't always follow the rules with creating. I don't have a storyboard a lot of times. It's kind of like when you're on vacation, stuff just happens. I'm filming all this stuff and stuff's happening, life's happening. And then you get back and you have this pile of footage.
That's part of the fun, isn't it? That's the jigsaw puzzle, putting it all together.
Yeah, it's puzzle building, and music's a big part of the puzzle building. Music is a huge part of the puzzle building, because I'll tell you, music is the glue that holds the puzzle pieces together. In case you sneeze, it doesn't come apart. So
I have an idea of the style of music I want to use, but I won't know what music is. And like Chuck says, I'll get a whole lot of footage, and a lot of it will end up on the cutting room floor.
And it has to. And that's the other thing. You got to be brutal. But the music, and you can with most of the editors. I'm not sure what everybody in the chat's using, but
you can mark.
You can
the music so that you can cut to the music.
I have cut up pieces of music and stitched them together, and I've taken like Epidemic
a certain section.
Yep, and I've had stuff where Epidemic Sound, where they offer a song that has an audio, like a voice track with it.
Oh yeah.
And then I'll take the version of the song that has that removed, and I'll lay them on two different tracks on the video. Why is Keith laughing? And I'll drop in and
Mike's
drop out,
comment.
drop in, drop out. What happened?
Mike Miller's comment. Sorry, I couldn't help it. I read Mike Miller's comment. I apologize. They're taking the mick out of Henry a bit in the chat.
Oh, I see that.
And they think you're Benjamin Button, Henry.
Oh.
Getting younger.
Yeah, maybe.
But sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Chuck. But,
no, it's fine. So, but getting back, so when you pick out the music, and you can cut it up and edit it and shorten it, and you don't have to use the entire song either. Don't think that because you're making a video that you have to play out the entire song. You don't. You can fade it out. You can drop it off. You can
cut a chunk out. Where
you don't feel like you're restricted to like, oh my God, I have this 3.5 minute song. I have to make the video 3.5 minutes. And then you go and you put you only have say 3 minutes of really good footage, and you have 3.5 minutes of song, and you're like, now you're trying to stretch stuff and make it. This is going to be crap. It's going to be crap. Just forget it. Crap. Yeah. So, and then adding sound effects, you can, a good thing to do when you're out in the field is to have a separate recorder and record the sounds around you. If you're near a stream, a burbling stream or something, record that for a while, get some of that. And then when you get back to the studio, you can bring that into your footage. You're flying the drone doesn't have a microphone that's worth a crap or any at all. No. Then you can bring the burbling stream in and have it, and don't have it like Godzilla, stomping in a mud puddle or something. Have it lower the level, and because you can adjust your levels on all your audio tracks and layer them and everything. And then it gives you that depth. And when you see drone videos, when you listen to them and you watch them, you'll see that guys do that, and it just makes it so much cooler when you have
I think
sound effects that fit the mood and where you are.
It's funny you talk about cutting up bits of music, because I did that with the Airwolf thing, because the only tune that I could use was the 5-minute long one. That's the one that isn't copyrighted because somebody else created that from the original.
Now I know you really put a lot of time into it, Keith.
Yes, because I cut the ending to match the TV program. Although anybody who actually watches Airwolf will know that it doesn't quite match. There is one, the intro is slightly longer. But that actually worked for me. Because
that's a really good video, Keith. You should break that out on its own, by the way.
I have done. but I haven't put it up yet. But I have done. For anybody who doesn't know what I'm interested in, go check out the case bot and check out my favorite trainer 2021. There's an Airwolf little skit in there. And it's awesome.
The only thing I was criticizing about that video, Keith, is you've put your favorite drone in 2021, but the silhouette is clearly given away.
I know that was a joke.
That was on purpose. Yeah,
that is on purpose. That is on purpose. That's why I'm going.
There it is.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, you're right.
Hey, Henry, put that in the chat, would you? Put the link to his video in the chat.
Yeah.
We were laughing about that. Yeah. Can you tell what it is? Yeah, really, I shouldn't use that.
I know. I remember when you showed me the thumbnail. I thought it was super cool. You did that. It's great.
But yes, no, I know what you mean. It was on purpose. It was slightly tongue in cheek that.
Yeah. Oh, here's something I just thought of that for the Skyboat song video that Lori and I put together with her and Claire's dress and everything. The way I got that song was using gamer mode on my Windows PC. Henry, you know about this.
Yeah.
I found the Skyboat song on YouTube and I recorded it with gamer mode and then brought the audio track into DaVinci and voila.
See, that's one thing why I still put a decent screen recorder into Windows that can record audio and screen, whereas we can do that now on the Mac quite quickly. But that's something that they should do in Windows. But I mean, we've talked about music, but audio is also important.
There's more to it than just music.
If you're going to do introducing your drone videos or whatever videos you're doing, make sure you nail your audio. Now, there are numerous things. So if you're going to sit in a room, make sure that you haven't got too much echo. If you can't get round that, there are very cheap plugins you can get. There is a company called Acorn. Yeah, Acorn.
Seriously, I put a pillow between me and the monitor to soften. To make the room less live sometimes when
I've got
this
a
microphone
there now.
When I'm doing my narration.
I've got Lego
take a big
on
old
the wall.
Bed pillow.
That helps. This room is a lot less tinny since I put a load of Lego up.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. But I also have an excellent, because I mean I learned how to do audio production back in a long time ago, and then promptly forgot it all, and then remembered it all. Taught Gareth, and then promptly forgot it all, and then had to ask Gareth how I did all that. And he's probably laughing right now.
Probably is.
I learned a lot about audio production to start off with before, because I was doing podcasting and everything like that. But there's a brilliant little plugin out there. If you're in a tinny room, there's a brilliant plugin from Acorn Digital called Deverb, and it works brilliantly. So that's something. But I mean, Rode make a video microphone, and it's like $40, and that is well worth getting. It's really, really good. A lot of people will tell you to get the Video Micro Pro or things like that, but no, you can get that mic, and it's relatively inexpensive. Or what? Yes, you can buy the Rode wireless Go, but those are quite expensive. This is if people are just starting out.
I looked and thought,
investment in greatness is what it is.
Yeah, but it's not without its problems. And actually, when you're vlogging, I mean, I'm potentially going to do a vlog tomorrow, and I looked at the wireless Go 2, and I went, do I charge that up? No, because I can't be bothered with faffing around, miking up the wife, miking up me, making sure the wires are always there. I just want to go out and enjoy the day. Video Micro Pro.
Yeah, you're right.
And it works. It works really, really well.
Well, there's another.
And you get good audio off it.
Yeah. Well, that's the important part. No matter how you do it, if you get the good audio, like remember the Old Man of Store videos, the first set. These were recording the audio, but all I had was the camera audio, and you couldn't hear a thing from the Osmo Action. You couldn't hear. All you heard is that's all you heard. And then I had to go back, and luckily these things store the audio from our outage. We had lavs on in the mics, and we'll like blew dust around.
There is that. But, and doing what you're doing, it's fine. I can't be bothered.
Well, the other thing is like Lori and I were blended together. If you have two microphones going to the same receiver, you can have the two channels totally separated, or you can merge them on the device. Well, foolish me merged them. So then Lori and I are always like together. Sometimes we're spread out, and she'll start talking or something about something completely unrelated. I'm trying to film a stream or whatever. And now I've got her saying, "Hey, Chuck, look at this over here." I'm like, shh. I have like outtakes like that, but it's like anyway. There's
but
another thing with the. That's why you might not want to use it tomorrow, Keith, because like that's always
well, no, yeah, but that's the thing. I mean, but I think if you're just starting out, and you know, you go, right, what do I want to do if I'm going to start talking to the camera before I introduce my videos? Don't worry about the camera. Spend the money on audio first, then worry about the camera. Film off your phone. These are bloody good cameras now. Film off your phone. Just get a microphone that is reasonably passable. Now, the microphones on these are pretty good, but they record a lot of external sound. Again, a directional microphone like the Video Micro from Rode.
Can you?
It's great.
Plug that into your phone?
That's all you need. I mean, in fact, I can show you. Wait there.
We have an example.
I do. This is it. This is the Video Micro.
Jackie, how you doing on? How you?
And it comes.
You all right with time?
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
Okay.
It comes with a dead cat. You can plug this into. If you buy a Rode one, you have to get a different cable if you're going to use it with your phone. But it's compatible with everything. It mounts on a cold shoe thing. You can get adapters for all cameras. But that's the thing you should spend your money on first. And it's relatively inexpensive.
And that's just a directional thing. You just
it's dead cat. Yeah,
but
dead
it
cat
comes
on
with
top of it.
It comes with
funny,
that,
Chris.
and I've used this 90% of the vlogs on my channel.
I wonder
that.
if the dead cat would have helped us climbing the old man a storm.
Yeah, in Scotland.
Yes,
would have.
Because we did okay with the foam, though. The foam did okay.
Well, you can get the. I mean, I think you bought the same ones. I've got Lavia mics, and I've got sort of outdoor.
We have the same. The
outdoor dead cats for them as well. But they do look like you've got like one of those great big furry caterpillars just sitting on your jacket kind of thing.
I kind of like the stealthiness of the foam, and it was Scotland tested, and it did okay. So I think I can live with it.
That I mean, this is the thing. So audio looks like it's dead. Better than a live cat. Thanks, Chris.
It's funny.
But audio is the most important thing. So if you are thinking about doing talking parts to any video, make sure you get a semi-decent microphone. I mean, this microphone here that I'm using right now is fantastic. It's not cheap. I mean,
mine wasn't
quite expensive.
Mine wasn't that expensive, really. It was under
but the thing that I like about this is it does all the audio processing inside. So even without StreamYard's doing some funky stuff with the audio cancellation, this thing does it quite well.
It says a bit inside under the hood of it, but this I can use for all my narration. And the only thing I have to be careful of is adjusting the levels so they don't clip. It's like that's true with any microphone, though. You have to make sure you adjust your levels so you're not clipping, because you can't fix clipping later on. It's just there.
You can't see this, but I've got a little light here, and it will go red when I'm clipping.
Yeah, I have.
So
mine doesn't tell me
really
that, but I have
impressive.
my levels are good right now, I think.
Yeah. Well, StreamYards is good at processing it. But I was about to mention that.
We could pop
Gareth
them in.
was the one that put me onto this. Gareth did all the research on this, and he's right. It is a very good microphone.
Pay no mind to the man behind the curtain, right, Gareth?
Does he not like being on the camera?
He's like the man. He's like the dude in the Wizard of Oz. You know, it's like he's the guy running all the switch gears and everything back there. And he pull the curtain. It's like, hey, pay no mind to the man behind the curtain. I am the great and powerful Oz. That's what I think of with Gareth, and we love him because he's doing us a huge service here. And by the way, Monkey Nut Punch is on tomorrow, is it not?
I was about to plug that. Now you're plugging it. Yes, we are. We're talking.
Yes, I am plugging it because I'm like one of the only people watching it, and that's not cool because it's pretty fun.
We are talking about The Expanse, which has very unfortunately come to an end. But if you're into sci-fi and you've never watched The Expanse, go do it now. Go and watch it on Amazon.
It's the best.
Bloody awesome.
There you go.
Talking of attention to detail, right? Talking of attention to detail, you might have noticed that I quite like attention to detail. This show's attention to detail is ridiculous, right? And I mean this, right? There's something you might when they are on right. This is how their attention of detail is, right? When they're obviously all over space. When they're in space and they pour a glass of water, watch how it goes. When they're on the moon, watch how it goes into the glass. When they're on Mars, watch how it goes onto glass. All of them are different. Seriously, they are accurate. They are obsessed with gravity. It's
cool.
It's ridiculous, their attention to detail. And seriously, when they're on the moon, there is a woman pouring a glass, and there's another scene where they're pouring water on Mars, and it's different.
We're off the rails. You realize we're way off the rails now.
Oh no, but it's just nuts. This
Okay.
is a series that I genuinely adore. So that's what we're talking about tomorrow, among other things.
Yeah, it is a fun show.
I think we're finally reviewing Ghostbusters, and that's a film, Chuck, you have to see, because I watched it this weekend.
I will see it, and then then this person here, put her in the here's Jackie's channel again, I think.
Yes,
but
we're about to, because we are going to come to an end, because
we gotta wind down. But before that, Drone Seekers is on tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Is that 8 p.m. UK? Yes. 9 p.m. for you, I think, Jackie.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's a pretty cool. If you're into drones, that's a really fun show, and having been on it, honored to be on it with the team. It's pretty cool, but I'd love to be on it and bitch with Marcus about this drone. I'd love to. Give me a little bit of flight time, and I can have it out with the guy. Because now I'm invested.
But Jackie, do you want to?
I know he does.
Sorry, I was going to say, do you want to plug your channel as well?
Oh yeah, I've got my old T-shirt on, but Backpack Jack. I like hikes, bikes, drones, and stand-up paddleboards.
And she'll climb anything.
Yes, the higher the better.
Regardless the height, she'll climb it and film it and share it with good music and good editing.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes.
That's why she's my arch rival as far as growing channels, because I have.
I had a head start in time, I think, didn't I? Did I start ahead of you?
Yeah.
4 years ago. But yeah, you're gaining rapidly.
I mean, I've had a YouTube channel. Thank you. We're doing okay.
That place you were at looked really interesting. I would be in there exploring.
Yeah, it was good. I'm going to go back.
Yeah, that was really
I'm going back this coming week.
I've got a question for you, because we talked about this off air, but you were up in the clouds. Did you have any problems with your drone coming down in the clouds?
Yeah, like any sensors?
No.
But literally, it was so windy up there that I hiked that 4 hours to do it, and I only spent about 60 seconds in the air with the drone because it was so windy. I was too nervous.
Yeah, it makes me nervous too when the drone's rocking and rolling. And, the footage looks okay.
Took it straight up, did a spin, came down.
Ran it down. Yeah. You're like me. Yeah, you get all nervous. That's why Scotland and I didn't get along well with the drone flying.
My baby.
But that's a pretty powerful drone. The Platinum will do a really good job in the wind.
Yeah,
it's always been formidable.
I do love it. But,
Very platinum-y. Very platinum-y. Sparkly. Yeah, Mike Miller called you out too. He says you have a great channel. So.
Oh, cool. And Chris.
Sorry about
that. He always watches my videos. Does Chris? Good man.
Henry, I'm back, by the way. Sorry, I dropped off for a minute. You have a channel.
Yeah. So I do videos about drones, cameras, mostly DJI, GoPro stuff. I'll review whatever I can get my hands on, and the rest I usually leak at some point. So, I do leaks, reviews, just some fun stuff. So, my channel is Henry Robot. It's on the screen right now. Check me out sometime.
Coming up on 2,000 subs there, Henry.
Yeah.
You are, man. Growing.
Nearly.
Yeah.
Nearly there, buddy. Somebody else has got a channel. Can't think who.
Hey, Spot.
No. Yeah, never mind. Oh yeah, that's it. Sorry, yeah, Chuck. You have a channel, don't you?
We do a little bit of we do travel videos and stuff. We're still burning through Scotland footage. I have so much of it, and I've been just loving I'm loving what I'm seeing. I'm going through the footage. I'm like, oh yeah, oh my god, we have that. That's cool. So there's a few more of these to come out from Scotland, but then we have stuff kind of like stocked up from we were in the Adirondacks, and I didn't do anything with the footage yet. And there are other things we need to get out. But Lori and I are totally into travel vlogging. Lori is my partner in crime now with this whole thing. It's pretty awesome. She has great ideas, and we've been traveling together forever. And to be able to bring it to YouTube and share it with everybody has been just really a lot of fun. And now people are commenting and joining in, and it's just really cool. And so if you haven't, I think you probably stop by, check out our stuff. Consider subscribing if you dig it. If you don't subscribe, but consider it. And that's it. It's Kovac.
Yeah. I have a channel apparently, and I actually did put a video out on it for once. So yes, I was just talking about the my favorite drone of last year. I'll give you a clue. It's the FPV drone, and I'll give you the reasons why. I know it's controversial, but I just love flying it for the sheer joy of flying it. It does put a smile on my face, and yes, it's got lots of problems, but go and check it out. And there's also, at the end of the video, there is a little fun sort of montage of the footage I shot to the Airwolf theme tune, and that was a lot of fun to make. In fact, I really enjoyed making that, I have to admit. As a kid, I was hugely obsessed with Airwolf. Yes, I do. And I am probably going to be doing a vlog tomorrow, partly because I want to. There's a place that we're going back to tomorrow, because last year we were there and there was no beach. This year there's a really great big beach.
I saw that post of yours on, or somebody posted it on YouTube or Facebook.
Yeah, I want to get the drone up because I want to show the process, because down the bit they're actually still building it. So we're gonna go back out, and we're going to go there towards the end of the day as well. So I'll have the drone with me with my new filters as well, because I've finally got some decent VNDs for the Air 2S. So thank you, my company. They gave me a £50 Amazon voucher and I used it on filters. So
nice.
Yes, very happy.
Nice.
So we're going to be doing that. And then we also, as we've already mentioned, but I will mention it again, we have Monkey Nut Punch, and we will be doing the Monkey Nut Punch podcast tomorrow, where we will be talking about The Expanse, think Ghostbusters, because I've finally been able to see it and loved that film so much. And we will also finally be doing the Factoids final, where I'm going to completely and utterly trounce Gareth. And I mean, I'm going to trounce him, win, and I will be victorious. Probably.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't get out that easy.
No, he always has to have the final word. So.
Sorry, Gareth, I couldn't resist, man. I still love you, though. Don't hate me.
We're going to be spinning it off.
I know
as well,
he's laughing. He's laughing his butt off back there.
So come check out the Factoids. Will be next weekend around about the same time as this. So come join in on that, because it's a lot of fun. It's like a game show, so you can play along in the chat.
It is pretty fun.
Which one?
Yeah.
Which one is true and which one is utter BS?
What we need, what you need to maybe consider doing is have like the viewer panel have like a vote.
Yeah, we're going to be taking some ideas. We're going to do the final of this
I want to be a judge.
Where I'm going to win. We might need one, Chuck.
Do you, if you want to be a judge, we'll gladly have you on board.
I have to make sure my schedule is free for this thing. It's every week.
Well, no, it won't be, but we are planning on spinning it onto its own channel and making some changes. But season 1 will finish, and then we'll work on the format slightly.
Probably I'm too
but
biased.
I'd just like to say
that might not be fair.
Thanks to everybody in the chat. Thanks, Mike. It's been lovely to have you. Thanks, Chris. Thanks,
Chris is
Bill.
always there for us, man. He's always there. Mike's
you're
always
legend,
here
sir.
for us too.
And Bill in there, John Coopy.
Nice for Aldrin the pop in. That was cool from Flight Path. And
so F13DFX. Thank you. It's been cool to have you in the chat. AZ Drones Dude. Laurie, hopefully you're not working too hard. I know it's tax season, so that sucks. But and everybody else in the chat. Jackie, it's been epic to have you. This time round, there was no disasters. So
Good.
No, does
yes.
Thanks for having me on the show. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I can
So
say
glad
this.
you were here.
The last time Jackie was on, in the middle, you might have noticed me go slightly quiet. That's because my father had a heart attack live on air.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that again. Another is my dad, funny enough.
Dad's
He's
not
okay.
recovering, by the way.
He is recovering and he's okay. He even
That's
drove
good.
his car the other day. So that's a good thing. But
Good.
again, thanks for joining us. Henry, thanks for coming up with some really interesting subjects this week.
good stuff. Now you're finding ways for me to spend money I don't have now.
Yeah. Give it a week. You'll have some money.
You'll have one.
I'll be fine.
But that Mavic 3, have fun with it. I mean it. Jokes aside, and you've taken the ribbing with good grace, so I respect you for that, sir.
Well, I said I wouldn't do it until it was ready. I said I didn't need it, and those
anyway.
are all true. They're all true statements, except I jumped in too soon. I think, but it'll shake it out. I might have to do it
at least 2 months. That's pretty good for you.
It's good for me, but maybe Keith, maybe I need to put some stuff up on 2KD. I'll do some. If I do some review work, I can put it up on 2KD.
I think we need
on
to start putting some static videos.
Yeah,
up
would you guys? I know in the chat, there's guys. Would you dig that? Maybe we should put some like reviews and stuff on here. It's a good place.
Yeah, if you're watching on the replay, leave us a comment and let us know. We're thinking about putting some review videos and drone content up on here as well. Anyway, guys, thank you to everyone that joined us. Thank you to everyone in the chat. We will see you in a few weeks. I think it's 3 weeks
Jackie.
the next stream.
Thank
you, Jackie. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Henry. Thank you, Gareth. Thank you very, very, very much.
Wait. Thank you, Gareth.
Thanks. Yeah.
It's a camera shot.
I love him.
We have the control too.
I love him.
And we'll see you in the next one. But for now, bye-bye.
And bye. Peace out.